The most important turning point in Waylon Jennings's country music legacy happened long before his greatest hits, rooted instead in a life intertwined with Jessi Colter, the woman who would become both his creative partner and spiritual anchor. Born Miriam Johnson in 1943 and raised in a strict Pentecostal household in Phoenix, Arizona, Jessi grew up surrounded by hymns, sermons, and unwavering faith. Yet even as a child she felt an inner tension between religious certainty and a deeper, more questioning artistic pull. The early loss of her younger brother Paul profoundly shook her faith, introducing a spiritual ambiguity that never erased belief but complicated it, later shaping the emotional depth and searching quality of her songwriting. As she matured, Miriam realized her path extended beyond the church. She began performing in local clubs, developing a distinctive voice that quietly commanded attention. At just 18, she married instrumental rock star Dwayne Eddy, gaining early exposure to the music industry but also discovering how easily her own identity could be eclipsed. By the time the marriage ended in 1968, she was a single mother facing artistic isolation and a haunting question of selfhood, prompting her to shed her birth name and re-emerge as Jessi Colter, a name symbolizing independence, strength, and rebirth. Drawn to the raw honesty of the emerging outlaw country movement, she rejected polished Nashville conventions and aligned with artists like Willie Nelson, carving out a rare space for a woman with her own voice in a male-dominated scene. Her early recordings, while modest commercially, signaled an authenticity that resonated deeply within the movement and led her to cross paths with Waylon Jennings, whose rebellious spirit and personal demons mirrored her own inner conflicts. Their connection was immediate and intense, evolving into a decades-long marriage marked by love, loyalty, creative synergy, and profound struggle, particularly as Waylon's addiction spiraled through the 1970s. Jessi was never a passive bystander. She endured the chaos firsthand, sustained by a quiet, steadfast faith that ultimately carried them through Waylon's brutal desert detox in the early 1980s, a harrowing ordeal that ended his substance use and reshaped their lives. Even as controversies followed Waylon, from arrests to industry battles, Jessi remained a steady presence, nurturing family, faith, and her own artistic path. When Waylon died in 2002, she retreated from the spotlight, turning inward to grieve, pray, and rediscover who she was beyond the role of his wife. Years later, she broke her silence with a memoir that revealed a story not of celebrity spectacle but of love, loss, endurance, and belief, followed by deeply spiritual music that reflected a lifetime of questioning and grace. Jessi Colter's journey is not merely the quieter side of outlaw country, but the story of a woman who survived chaos without losing her soul, ultimately learning to speak fully and truthfully for herself.